reflected as April 21st, 2020. My clock has it at 6:15 p.m. As a preliminary matter, this is Mayor Jacob Vandenberg. Before we get started, I'd ask that anyone joining us remotely, please be patient and respectful as we navigate this meeting remotely. In order for this meeting to run smoothly, I will not tolerate speaking out of turn or inappropriate comments to be made or posted electronically. As this is a special meeting, all comments must be as germane as possible to items on the agenda in order to keep the meeting moving forward and in an orderly fashion. At this time, allow me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Clerk Therian.
Present.
Trustee Berg.
Affirmative.
Trustee Brady.
Affirmative.
Trustee Brennan.
Present.
Trustee Galante. Trustee Diane Galante.
Her name shows it's just she has.
I'm showing her present on the conference, but maybe not having audio. Trustee Glotz.
Present.
Thank you. Trustee Mueller.
Present.
Thank you. Trustee Galante, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me
Okay. Yes, I can. Thank you. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Dave Niemeyer.
Present.
Pat Carr.
Affirmative.
Laura Gadet.
Present.
Paul O'Grady.
Present.
Donna Framke. Donna Framke. Kimberly Clark.
Present.
Priscilla Cordero. Matt Walsh.
Present.
Boris Reeder.
Present.
John Urbanski.
Present.
Brad Bettenhausen.
Here.
Andrew Brown.
Here.
Hannah Littman.
Present.
Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you in advance for your patience and cooperation throughout tonight's Village Board meeting, which is conveying remotely via GoToMeeting. This open meeting of the Village of Tinley Park is being conducted remotely consistent with Governor Pritzker's executive order of 2020-07, which was issued on March 16, 2020, which suspends the Open Meetings Act provisions relating to in-person attendance by members of the public body. Specifically, the governor's order, number 1, suspends the requirement in section 2.01 that, quote, members of the public body must physically be present, and 2, suspends the limitations in section 7 on when remote participation is allowed. In order to mitigate the transmission of the virus and reduce risks of COVID-19 illness, Executive Order 2020-07 furthermore encourages public bodies to postpone public business when possible. Therefore, tonight's agenda has been kept to a minimum. The Open Meetings Act, OMA, requires public bodies to allow for public comment. This meeting will feature public comment. Even if members of the public do not provide comment, participants are advised that people may be listening who do not provide comment, and those persons are not required to identify themselves. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by web and audio conference. All the materials for this meeting are available on the Village's website, and we recommend the members and the public to follow the agenda as posted. Before turning to the first item on the agenda, allow me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, Mayor Vandenberg, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response or comment on any item, please wait until I, the chair, yield the floor to you, and always state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in conversation with other members, please do so through the chair. Please take care to remember to identify yourself while doing so. After the members have spoken, I will afford public comment as follows. The public was provided the opportunity to submit comments until noon today by emailing their public comments to the clerk's office or by placing their written comment in the drop box at the Village Hall. The public was also provided the opportunity to submit a request until noon today to the clerk's office or by placing their written request in the drop box to participate publicly via a live telephone call at the relevant portion of the public meeting. A village representative will call the provided telephone number and allow the phone to ring not more than 4 times. If the call is not answered within those 4 rings, the call will be terminated. If answered, the participant will be allowed to participate telephonically. The public comment should be presented in a manner as if the participant is in attendance at the meeting. At the start of the call, the participant should provide their name and any other information the participant wishes to convey. For comments regarding agenda items, identify and include the specific item number. The participant should try to address all comments to the public body as a whole and not to any member therefore. Repetitive comments are discouraged. The total comment time for any single participant is 3 minutes. Further time up to an additional 3 minutes may be granted by a motion of the board. A participant may not give his or her allotted minutes to another participant to increase that person's allotted time. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
America, and to the republic
For which it stands,
one nation, under God,
under God, indivisible,
justice
with
for all.
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
here.
Trustee Brady.
Here.
Trustee Brennan.
Present.
Trustee Galante.
Present.
Trustee Glatz.
Present.
Trustee Mueller.
Here.
President Vandenberg.
Aye. Thank you. Item number 1. At this time, I'd ask for a motion for approval of the agenda as written or amended. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
That motion will carry. Thank you. Item number 2. Clerk?
Mr. O'Grady.
I'm sorry. Item 2 is consider advancement of item 13. Receive comments from the public to item 2B of this agenda. I've asked for this to be advanced on tonight's agenda to 2B so that we can ensure a smooth, orderly meeting and make sure that people are heard before any action is taken on any item. Period.
I'll make a motion, Jake.
Thank you, Counselor. It's been properly moved to move item 13 to receive comments from the public to item 2B of this agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes. Thank you all, and the motion will carry. Item 2B. At this time, we'll receive comments from the public. Were there any public written comments received by email or via the Dropbox at Village Hall?
Mr. Mayor, this is Attorney Paul O'Grady. Yes, there were a number of emails. There was no public comments dropped in the Dropbox at Village Hall. The village clerk's office received a number of emails. Mr. Michael Stuckley emailed the village board on the 18th regarding agenda item number 6, face coverings. That's been forwarded to all the board and all the elected officials. A second public comment by Mr. Michael Stuckley was sent on 4/20, again on agenda item number 6 regarding face coverings. That's been forwarded to the board for their consideration. Further, Lori Vesser emailed the village clerk's office on 4/20 on agenda item number 6 regarding face coverings. That's been forwarded to the board. Mr. Stephen Eberhardt, he emailed on 4/20. He has an issue with the way the village attorney is recommending that we handle public comments, in particular in regards to how the emails are handling in a dispute over that between him and I, apparently. Mr. Jaffer Ali has emailed the board and requested to be called. We'll move that to the bottom of the agenda when I'm done with this report, that we call him to discuss number 6, face coverings. Bernard Greenwald emailed the village clerk's office regarding agenda item number 6 regarding face coverings. That's been shared with the entire board. If I didn't mention it, Mr. Eberhardt's email regarding my handling of the public comment rule was sent to the entire board as well, just in case. And so was the next person's, all of them were sent to all the board members. But Mr. Greenwald was sent as well. There was another one, an unknown person emailed the board, did not sign it, but it had to do with number 6, face coverings, and that's been forwarded to the entire board and all the elected officials. Massimo Guglielmo also emailed the village clerk's office regarding agenda item number 6 regarding face coverings. That has been forwarded to all the elected officials and appropriate staff. There were Mr. Giebel, Mr. Moss, Mr. Murray, Mrs. Malinski, and Ms. Taylor all emailed the village clerk's office after the cutoff. Even though it was done after the cutoff, they all had to do with number 6 on the agenda tonight, face coverings. Those have also all been forwarded to the village board for their consideration. At this point, I'll turn it over to Deputy Clerk Laura Gadet to call Jaffer Ali, who requested to participate via telephone.
Thank you, Counselor. Is there any direct answer that we want to given to that, Mr. Manager, or are we just receiving them as public comment and moving forward?
We're just receiving them as public comment. All the contents of the comments were all sent to the board, so I think that's sufficient.
Very good. And I would just, most of those were regarding the face mask, and I would just direct the individuals that had the comments regarding that to the committee of the whole meeting, where there was debate amongst the officials, so that they probably could get their answers if they had direct questions from that from that session. Were there any requests for telephonic public comments? We understand there's one. Will that be done right now, or?
Yep, I'm
Yes.
about to hit the
Yes,
button here.
we're doing it right now.
Okay.
This is Sharif.
Hello, Mr. Ali, this is Laura Godet. You are now on public comment, and you will have 3 minutes to speak.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Sharif Ali with Pulse TV, and this is regarding number 6, face mask coverings. So we have donated many masks to the fire department and police department here in Tinley Park. We are also located in Tinley Park in a small business which carries PPE products. So many of these businesses require, the use of face masks now, and we have the supply to the workers and public as well. So, people can visit pulsetv.com and place orders, but we also supply in bulk to these businesses. So feel free to give me a call at 708-478-4500, extension 150, and I can take good care of you and, supply everybody in this time of need. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ali.
Okay, is that finished?
That's finished.
Is there additional cost? I don't know.
Can we proceed?
Go ahead and proceed, Mayor.
Thank you. I'd just like to thank the public comments for their participation this evening and being kind of a different and awkward scenario. It's good to see that there's people that are participating in this challenging time. Item number 3, at this time I'd ask for a motion to approve the minutes of the regular and special village board meeting that was held on April 7th, 2020. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that then, Jake.
It's been properly moved by Trustee Brady and seconded by Trustee Glotz.
Mr. Mayor, this is Trustee Berg. Can I have permission to have the floor for a moment before we vote?
An item regarding the items for the minutes.
Number 3.
And this is regarding item 3, regular and special village board meeting minutes.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Trustee Berg.
Last meeting was our 4/7/20. It was our first teleconference call. In the interest of transparency, I requested a written transcript for the last board meeting, 4/7/20. I believe it should be available to any citizen on our website. I discussed with Mr. Niemeyer. He sent out an email last Friday that this is not something we would do, but if a majority of the board wants to do it, we would. I've not heard any comments to this, but as such, I request that we have a board vote on the transcripts for transparency for any of the virtual meetings. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, may
Thank you,
I?
Trustee Berg.
This is Clerk Theory.
That would be
May I?
over and above the minutes. Is that my understanding?
Over and above.
I don't think that has a place on the agenda right now, Trustee Berg, and that I would request that if you'd like to do that moving forward, that you have it placed on the next agenda. This time we'll call the roll on the minutes for the regular board meeting and the special village board meeting held on April 7, 2020.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glotz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Thank you all. I would also just mention before we proceed that I thought that the clerk's office did a fair to impeccable job on relating to the accurate minutes from the last meeting. Understanding this is unprecedented times, and I think they did a nice job putting it together. And I'm looking forward to the continued transparency that they're providing to the public. That motion will carry. Item number 4, Trustee Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion to consider adopting Resolution 2020-R-035, recognizing April 12th to April 18th, 2020, as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in the Village of Tinley Park.
So moved. I will happily second that motion.
Been properly moved and seconded. Thank you. Go ahead, Bill Brennan.
Thanks, Trustee Glotz. Whether it's a fire, robbery, medical, or another personal emergency, there's always someone to answer our call for help in our moment of need. We pick up the phone, make the call to 911, and listen to a voice on the other end. The voice guides us through our crisis until responders arrive. While we may never see their faces or know their names, these public safety professionals are the vital link to the emergency responders who come to our rescue. The Tinley Park 911 Center is staffed 24/7, 365 days a year, and these professionals, also known as telecommunicators, are prepared to answer your emergency. April 12th through April 18th was National Telecommunicator Week. The village appreciates the dedication and hard work the telecommunicators do every day. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Trustee Brennan. Are there any comments from the board before we adopt this resolution? Are there any public written comments received by email or via the Dropbox regarding this item?
Mr. Mayor, this is Attorney O'Grady. There were no comments dropped in the Dropbox. There were no emails received. There's no request to participate by telephone.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glotz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
The motion will carry. Thank you. Item 5, this would be the consent agenda. This time I'd ask for a motion to consider approval of the following consent agenda items. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion, Jake.
So moved.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you read the consent agenda items into the record, please?
The consent agenda consists of one item, namely to consider payment of outstanding bills in the amount of $2,585,728.52 as listed on the vendor board approval reports dated April 10th and April 17th, 2020.
Thank you, Clerk. The board members care to remove the payment of our outstanding bills from the consent. Let the record reflect there's none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glotz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion will carry. Thank you. Item 6, Trustee Glotz.
Jake, that'll be Trustee Mueller.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to consider adopting Resolution 2020-R-037, declaring an emergency affecting the public health due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 disease in the state of Illinois and requiring face coverings to preserve public health and protect our residents.
So moved.
Second. Thank you.
So moved.
You can proceed,
Mayor. Thank you, Brady. The intent of this resolution is to further increase the wearing of face coverings when in public to reduce the spread of COVID-19 virus, to protect essential workers and all members of our community. Effective April 24, 2020, all essential businesses, as defined by the Governor's Executive Order 2020-10, shall wear a face covering as recommended by the Center for Disease Control. This shall be in effect until May 21, 2020, or the repeal of the Governor's Disaster Declaration issued on March 9, 2020. This resolution does not alleviate the need for strict social distancing practices and adherence to the stay-at-home order. This item was discussed at the committee of the whole meeting held prior to this meeting. This resolution is eligible for adoption today.
Thank you, Trustee Mueller. Are there any comments on the board?
I do, Jake.
Trustee Glass, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Like I mentioned earlier in the cow, everyone made very good points on, the pros and cons for it. Just, again, repeat myself for people that didn't watch the cow. Much as I strongly encourage everybody wearing some type of protective face covering, I do not believe the village board should be mandating this. This is something that should be done by Governor Pritzker. That would put an extra undue burden on our police worrying about wearing masks. I wear a mask when I go out, and I highly encourage others to do the same. We don't want to put our seniors or at-risk residents in harm's way. Our job is to govern, and if this is just a resolution and we're not going to be enforcing it, I just don't see the point. I think it's confusing for the residents if it's just a resolution and basically there's no action. So, thank you.
Are there any other comments on the board?
Yes, the state, Trustee Berg.
Okay, one at a time, please. Trustee Berg, the floor is yours.
I would just like to say I agree 100% with Trustee Glotz. There's no enforcement issue involved here. Everything he said, I absolutely agree with. Thank you.
Is that Trustee Brennan? Is that another comment?
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment, Jake.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. I just want to add to the conversation that, again, this is a resolution, not an ordinance. The CDC is recommending this cloth face coverings only when social distancing is not able to be adhered to. So, like I said earlier, if we could save, one life from this is, or one infection, whatever it may be, I think it's worthwhile. So, I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Trustee Brennan. Is anyone else?
I would like to add to can I have Trustee Brady?
Trustee Brady, the floor is yours. Trustee Galante, you'll be after.
I just wanted to agree with Trustee Brennan. Certainly, if we can save one life, the idea of facing somebody or seeing them and possibly receiving their saliva, their spit, their sneeze, they have a chance of killing me. So I would like to see everybody wear a mask so that you're protecting somebody else, and they're wearing one to protect you. Thank you.
Trustee Galante, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I want to just kind of say the same thing is, yes, it is optional today. It is definitely optional today. And when we go into a store, we're not seeing people wearing them. And, our youth, our families, ourselves are all working in these stores. And if there's essential workers out there that live in our village, they're not being protected if we're saying this is optional. People maybe will encourage people to feel more at ease to put something over their face. Maybe they're uncomfortable right now because it's not required. I feel like, again, this isn't anybody. We're not going to having police go do extra work because this isn't a police action. But we are trying to encourage everybody to help. For me, it's the essential workers that are working in our stores today that have no option. They have no option not to be at work. They have to be there. And if we're just going to give it optional for other people to come through these stores, hundreds of people come through their stores, and we make it optional and they're not doing it today, I feel that this is a way to, like they said, maybe we can save one life. Maybe we can, one cough can be caught. Even if, like Trustee Berg mentioned, once you do sneeze, it's no longer good, but it caught that first sneeze. So if it again, same as Trustee Brady is saying, if it saves a life, I'm all for it. And again, I don't believe it's taking anybody's rights away. If they don't kind of wear the mask, then just don't go to that store. You still have that right. Not trying to take anybody's rights away. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Trustee Galante. Is there any other board member care to comment regarding item 6?
Mr. Mayor, if I could just add one more thing.
Trustee Brady, wait a turn. Trustee Mueller, did you have something?
No, I was just going to say there's nothing that hasn't been said, so I don't need to make any more comments.
Fair enough. Thank you. Trustee Brady?
I'm having fun with this. I have 3 different ones to go with different outfits that I wear. So I've color coordinated.
I'm going to leave it alone.
Always dressed for the occasion.
Can we see a picture of
So
that?
you got your, never mind. You got your Boy Scout, you have your Boy Scout mask and your township uniform mask, and what else? Your pajamas? You're good to go?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's move on. Thank you.
Slippers?
Counselor, is there any comments regarding this via email, via Dropbox at the Village Hall, or telephonic regarding item 6?
Mr. Mayor, Attorney O'Grady, as I stated under 2B, agenda item 2B, other than those emails that I outlined earlier that discussed this agenda item number 6, doing with the face coverings, there were no other comments received at the Dropbox, and there were no requests to participate telephonically.
Thank you, Counselor. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
No.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
No.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
The motion will carry. Thank you. Item 7.
I'd like to make a motion to consider adopting Resolution 2020-R-036, approving the purchase of a 2020 Ford F-550 dump truck from Sutton Ford through the Suburban Purchase Cooperative.
For a second.
Sorry about that. I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
The Suburban Purchasing Cooperative Joint Purchasing Program offered the best pricing option for the replacement of a 2020 Ford F-550 at a cost of $44,893 through Sutton Ford. Consider approving the purchase of a 2020 Ford F-50 in the amount of $44,893. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole meeting held prior to this meeting. The resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the board? No comments from the board. Are there any public comments received via email or via Dropbox at the Village Hall or telephonically regarding item 7?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8, Trustee Galante.
Thank you. I'd like to consider adopting ordinance 2020-0-017, approving the annual budget for the fiscal year ending April 30th, 2021 for the Village of Tinley Park, Cook, and Will County, Illinois.
I will second that.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Jake.
You can proceed, Trustee Galante. Thank you.
Thank you. On March 10, 2020, the March 17th and March 17, 2020, the Committee of the Whole met and recommended approval of the proposed budget for fiscal year ending April 30th, 2021. The proposed total expenditures budget for the general fund is $57,397,932. The Tinley Park Public Library is also included in the proposed budget, and the proposed total expenditures budget for the library's general fund is $5,891,550. The proposed total expenditures budgeted at the village funds including the Tinley Park Public Library is $150,282,614. In accordance with the state statutes, a public hearing was held on April 7, 2020. As required, a copy of the proposed budget has been available on the public inspection on the transparency portal of the village website since April 1st, 2020. And this ordinance is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Trustee Galante. Are there any comments from the board?
I'd like to make a comment.
Yeah.
Trustee Mueller, the floor is yours.
Mr. Niemeyer, would you mind explaining the process that we'll be following before any money will be available for the grant program outside of the existing Oak Park Avenue playbook?
Sure, thanks, Trustee Mueller. We will do, the community development staff is currently developing criteria that will be required before the grant program will be operational. We will be reviewing that with both the Economic Commercial Commission as well as the Village Board, and that will have to be reviewed by both bodies before the program begins.
Thank you very much.
Staff, if I could ask you to speak into the microphones a little clearer, please. It's very faint on our end of the audio. I believe Trustee Berg, you had a comment.
I do. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. This is Trustee Berg. I just want to say that I would really recommend postponing this a little longer because I know that Mr. Niemeyer has asked the village board some further questions as they're due to respond back to him on Thursday regarding the budget. And for that reason, also, just because it's so crazy, people have lost their jobs, their income is going down, the income tax revenue, it's not going to be, it's delayed 90 days by the state already until July. I say get it right and not rush it. Just really want everyone to consider postponing just a little longer till after the Thursday meeting. And just the revenue side I was not satisfied with anyway, as everyone knows, because we didn't recast it. And I know Mr. Brown said it would take 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks now. We could have possibly done that. So thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Berg. Does the treasurer want to speak to that? I guess I would also like, if we're going to speak on that, can you, first of all, have we ever postponed a budget in Tinley Park's history, first of all? Second of all, what would the process be if that were to be the scenario? Can we do it legally?
Brad could probably speak best, but I don't doubt that we've ever postponed a budget. The fiscal year starts in about 10 days, so that's the reason for needing to pass this tonight. And as I've mentioned to the board, and it's been in a couple emails, we are looking at, we have asked the department heads to come up with budget cuts. We are putting a number of capital projects on hold. We put a wage freeze on for non-union employees, and we're going to be looking at additional cuts and changes to the budget that, as Trustee Berg referred to, the departments will be submitting to us Thursday, and we'll be reviewing those with the board once we have had a chance to make some recommendations and priorities, and that will happen in due time.
If I may add, Mr. Mayor and Village Board of Trustees, just to reiterate what I spoke about 2 weeks ago, I'm unsure where the 2-week number came from to recast revenues. I don't recall that being or actually giving a timeline. I'm going to reemphasize the example I used last meeting, which was the fact that if this COVID crisis occurred at the same time and we were a calendar year fiscal year, meaning our fiscal year started on January 1, we would already have been almost 1 quarter into the budget. And those communities who already had budgets in place are not canceling their budget, are not dropping everything to amend the budget. What they are doing is the same thing that we're doing here in Tinley Park, which is adjusting effectively on the fly and making the necessary cuts and adjustments for what we know today, and continuing to be flexible and fiscally responsible in their spending as we move forward, knowing that we are not at the end of this, and that the stay-at-home order may, in fact, be extended beyond April 30th, which will continue to impact our revenue streams negatively. And we will have to continue, again, to be fiscally responsible in our spending and conservative with our forecasts once this comes to a close. So inevitably, regardless of when it happened, restarting what is a 6-month process with the department heads now is not it's not feasible to try and recast and adopt a more conservative budget, as this budget was developed within the constraints of the time we were in, but we do have the financial flexibility, and we are fiscally responsible here to work with our department heads to get through the cuts to discuss the cuts that we have with department heads, as well as realign the capital needs of the village, to defer what we can, do what we must, and then take the rest of it in stride based on what the actual actions are, and how we can react to this once we do get back to whatever normal is when the stay-at-home orders are lifted.
Can I comment, Jake?
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Go ahead.
So I think the 2 weeks, if I recall, was at the April 7th meeting, when Trustee Berg asked to cancel it. I thought you said it's not possible to do 6 months worth of budget work in 2 weeks. I don't think you said you could do it in 2 weeks. You said it was a 6-month timeline. So that's where the 2 weeks came in, Andrew.
Thank you for correcting that. I do recall that being somewhat in the realm of my statement. Thank you very much, Trustee Glatz.
You're welcome.
Anything else from the staff end or from Trustee Glatz before I proceed?
No, sir.
Very good. Where are we at? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
No.
Trustee Brady.
Skipped your part.
Yes.
We skipped the part. Hey, Jay?
Can I pause the voting? I'm sorry. Did I ask if there was any public written comments via email or via Dropbox or telephonically regarding this? I don't think I did.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, just for the record, Attorney O'Grady here. No, there were no emails, comments. There were no comments dropped at the Dropbox, and no one requested to participate telephonically. Thank you.
Thank you, and I apologize. Madam Clerk, can you continue the roll call?
Yes, I'll resume with Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion will carry. Thank you. Item 9, Trustee Galante.
Thank you, sorry. I'd like to make a motion to consider adopting Resolution 2020-R-33, authorizing transfers from the General Fund, Water, Sewer, Operations and Maintenance Fund, and Commuter Parking Lot Operations and Maintenance Fund.
Second?
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second?
Is there a second? Thank you. You can proceed, Diane. Thank you.
This resolution implements a series of year-end transfers following established fiscal practices as outlined in the Fiscal Policies Manual. These transfers are supported by the excess of revenues over expenditures expected to be generated for the fiscal year end April 30th, 2020, or from the fund balance of the fund initiating the transfer. The transfers are made to the Capital and Debt Service Reserve Funds to support the current and long-term financial needs of the village, to support the replacement of infrastructure, equipment, and provide for debt services on outstanding bonds. The resolution established not to exceed amounts, but the contemplated transfers of $10 million from the general fund, $3 million from the water and sewer fund, and $1 million from the commuter parking lot fund. The resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Trustee Galante. Are there any comments from the board? There's no comments from the board. Counselor, are there any comments, public comments written by email or via the Dropbox and or telephonically regarding item 9?
Mr. Mayor, this is Paul O'Grady. No.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, I'd ask that you call the roll, please.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glotz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion will carry. Thank you. Item 10. At this time, I'd ask the board for a motion to consider adopting ordinance 2020-0-018, amending Chapter 112, Section 23B of the Tinley Park Municipal Code, payment of license fees for annual liquor license renewal periods.
So moved.
Is there such a motion?
So moved.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Thank you. Currently, all establishments in the village that hold a liquor license renew their license on a semi-annual basis as required by Title 11, Chapter 112, Section 23B in the Tinley Park Municipal Code. The Liquor Commissioner is seeking board approval to move from a semi-annual to an annual renewal basis. This will greatly ease administrative processes and at the same time be more business-friendly. Annual licensing is consistent with the village's historical policies and past practices regarding other local licensing. Moving forward, renewals would be initiated in December prior to the start of the next calendar year, with all licenses expiring on December 31 annually. This ordinance is eligible for adoption this evening. Are there any comments from the board? There are no comments from the board. Counselor, were there any public comments received via email or via the Dropbox at Village Hall or telephonically regarding item 10?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Counselor. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Trustee Berg.
Abstain.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glotz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion will carry. Thank you. Item 11, receive comments from staff. Are there any staff comments this evening?
Mr. President Vandenberg, I just actually wanted to do just a short follow-up on that last agenda item. There was a couple of things that went on here. Obviously, moving to this new once-a-year process is a good thing for both the businesses and more efficient. Really effectively also, what we're doing this year is we're not collecting the last 6 months of license payment. So we're essentially, that's in recognition of the fact that our bars and restaurants are obviously some of the most impacted businesses. We're not going to be collecting 6 months of the license fee this year in hopes that that can help them a little bit. So I just wanted to comment on that.
Thank you. And that's just for liquor license. That does not, that is not regarding video gaming licenses, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Any other comments from staff? There's nothing else from staff. We'll move on to item 12, receive comments from the board.
I have a couple of comments, Mr. President. This is
Trustee Brady?
Trustee Brady, you have a comment from the board. The floor is yours.
Yes, I just want to thank the staff for arranging these safe meetings to protect all of us. Hannah and her team that did this, it's been a great job, and I appreciate the protection that you've afforded all of us.
Thank you, Trustee Brady. Any other comments from the board?
Yes, President Vandenberg, this is Kristen Therian. I have an announcement and a comment, if I may.
Sure, Clerk, go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to announce that we are delaying, the village is delaying the sale of vehicle stickers to July 1st, 2020, and this would move the due date to have the sticker on the vehicle to September 30th. And this will be put out via social media and on our website. And then I have a brief comment regarding transcripts that came up at the end of discussion on item 3. As the mayor mentioned at the end of that discussion, the clerk's office seeks to provide highly accurate and detailed minutes. I would be so bold as to say that we go above and beyond other municipalities in this regard. With regard to the production of transcripts, I think this would place an unfair burden on our staff, as verbatim transcripts are generally very time-consuming for the average person. And additionally, our audiovisual staff does a fantastic job live streaming these meetings and maintaining them on the Tinley Television YouTube channel. So, Trustee Berg, if I may, could I inquire why you would be interested in a transcript?
Same reason you and I ran together, Clerk Darian. It's about transparency. You can't hear everything on this call, and neither can I. And everyone has had the muffled sounds coming from the village hall. Outside sources do transcription. I believe it's $6.50 a page. Thank you.
Yes, and Trustee Berg, would this just be something for these emergency meetings that you'd like to see, or do you want this to be an ongoing service?
I did not hear that.
My question was, did you want the transcripts just for the emergency meetings, or is it your opinion that this should be an ongoing service?
Only from the teleconference, if I'm hearing you correctly. The ones that we're doing in this format is all that I would request, and I think would be great for the Village of Tinley Park to be transparent in this matter and have them out there for people to read as well as hear. Like, I'm not even sure if they can hear the whole tape.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Clerk, I have a follow-up question, if I can, regarding the vehicle stickers. I believe I heard you mention that we're going to push that out via our social media and our website. Correct me if I'm wrong, our senior population are typically the ones that are the first ones to the door looking for their vehicle stickers. Do we have an idea how we should get that out to them, understanding that most of them may or may not be on a social media platform?
Yeah, Dave.
If I can add something to this. This is Donna Framke. We are sending out a senior newsletter in the very near future, and we are intending to include that information as well as the ordinance that was passed this evening, a new initiative with the Ministerial Association is all intended to be included in that newsletter. The intention is to get that out next week. And that list will be drawn from the seniors who have purchased senior status vehicle stickers in the past.
That's a paper newsletter, Donna?
It is snail mail.
That answers my question, Clerk. Thank you.
I had a comment, Jake.
Are there any other comments on the board this evening? Trustee Blatz?
Yes. So, again, I just want to thank Brad, Andrew, finance team, Dave, and all the department heads. You guys have been very, very motivated in making them reduce their budgets to make sure that we don't have any problems. And again, like you said, April 7th, this started, 35, 40 years ago. The fiscal responsibility to get us in a position that we're in to weather a storm like this. So thanks for what you guys are doing. And, the department heads are feeling the pressure from, Dave, Brad, Andrew, and the whole finance team. So thank you.
I was muted. Thank you, Trustee Watts. My final points would be I appreciate everyone's participation in the public service announcement videos. You all did a very nice job with that. So thanks for getting together with Donna and marketing on that. That was it was good stuff for you guys to get out there and spread the word to our community. Secondly, Donna touched on it, but I would also like to push it out of there as well. The Tinley Park Ministerial Alliance has recently launched an inspirational dial-in phone line. This is in conjunction with all of the churches throughout Tinley Park and a little bit of Orland and Orland Hills. So if you have any questions on that, please reach out to myself or to Donna. But the men and women of the Ministerial Alliance are doing an incredible job indeed to promote positive engagement, positive inspiration during this crisis. So for anyone listening, or certainly for the rest of the elected officials, if you know anybody that's in need of talking to someone, please have them call and listen to that. It's an unbelievable thing that they're putting together. So just kudos to them. If there's no other comments from the board, we'll move on to item number 14. At this time, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn to executive session. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Make that motion.
It's been properly moved and seconded. We're going into executive session to discuss two bullet points this evening. A, the collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or the representatives or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees. And B, litigation when action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting. It's been properly moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Burke.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
That motion will carry. We are going to adjourn into executive session. The time on my phone is 7:13 p.m.
Mr. Mayor,
there will be nothing to follow for a public session, so have a good evening, and thanks for joining us.